Fortnite Chapter 2 OG has some issues. Now, if you guys don't know, Fortnite Chapter 2 OG is releasing in just about 3 months from now, and it's happening exactly 1 year after Chapter 1 OG released, and we're going to be returning back to the Chapter 2 map for the first 3 seasons. Now, if you guys don't know, it is confirmed that Seasons 1, 2, and 3 will all be returning for the month between November 2nd and December 2nd before we go into Chapter 6 of Fortnite. And with this being revealed, and with Chapter 2 OG being super duper hype, almost as hype as Chapter 1, I feel like, there are just a few issues that arise from this release. Only Seasons 1 through 3 are going to be brought back in Chapter 2 OG, and in my opinion, I feel like them leaving out all of the other seasons of this amazing chapter is a huge mistake. In Chapter 1 OG, Fortnite had no issue bringing in almost every single season with major map changes that there has been around the Season 3 mark all the way up to Season X, and I really don't see what the difference is between Chapter 2. Now, I understand that the first 2 seasons of Chapter 2 were very, very long, one being due to the pandemic, but that really doesn't justify exactly why they're just doing the first 3 seasons. I know a lot of people see Season 2 and 3 as some of the best seasons we've ever had in Fortnite, but I simply don't see why they can't fit in other seasons like Season 4, 7, and 8. In 4, we had the Marvel season. That would be a great callback to the season previous. In 7, the alien invasion, and in 8, we got the return of Kevin the Cube. That was one of the best seasons, in my opinion, that I think Fortnite has ever had, and I would love to see that come back, but unfortunately, Fortnite just doesn't see it as good enough to put in Chapter 2 OG, and personally, I feel like that is something they may actually regret, because a lot of players really want to see that stuff come back, and I know that we did just have a Marvel season when Chapter 2 OG comes out, but calling back to that old Marvel season and bringing back things like Stark Industries, especially if they don't return this season, would be fantastic for bringing players back to the game. And here's one of the biggest issues surrounding this. In my opinion, it feels like Fortnite is beginning to rely too much on nostalgia in this OG atmosphere. Now, what I mean is that Fortnite, it seems like they're demeaning further seasons and chapters if people are always just waiting for the OG season. A lot of people may not play this season or may see it as not worthy of being played simply because of what is coming next or what came before. In my personal opinion, Chapter 5 Season 1 really didn't feel as good as it really was to me when I first started playing because it just came out after Chapter 1 OG. The whole Chapter 1 map returned and it was so sad that it was leaving. I had to watch the end of it for a second time, and honestly, to me, that kind of demeaned the whole vibe around a new map and a new chapter and a fresh start. Now, I'm not saying that to be like, oh, Fortnite can't do anything except for the OG stuff. I'm just saying that it feels like they're relying on it too much to the point to where it's the only thing that people are looking for. Just like right now, a lot of people, even though this season is very, very good, it may not be seen as good as it actually is by the general public and the player base simply because everyone knows that Fortnite OG Chapter 2 is coming next, which they could just be waiting for that. I'm just going to get through this season until OG Chapter 2 comes out because it is so hype and it was really good seasons that are coming back. Now, another thing, I could see Fortnite actually falling off pretty hard from this. Now, even though Fortnite has done a pretty good job cooking up some pretty good seasons with some fun items like last season and this season, they are doing a very good job. But like I said, I feel like a lot of people are just playing the game and maybe just tolerating what is going on simply because they know what's coming next in Chapter 2 OG. Eventually, Fortnite is going to kind of run out of nostalgia to feed off of, and I feel like that's going to happen literally in a few months. I don't see there being any more OG seasons after Chapter 2. Chapter 3 and Chapter 4 literally just aren't nostalgic at all. They may be for certain people, but for me, someone who started playing in Chapter 1, Chapter 2 barely feels like nostalgic or OG to me at all. I know it was a super long time ago when that came out. Chapter 2 began in 2019, I believe, and I played it a lot during the pandemic. Chapter 2 Season 2 is one of the best seasons of all time. I will admit that, but Chapter 2 simply just does not feel as nostalgic for me as Chapter 1 did. And a lot of people, hey, I don't know, if you started playing in Chapter 3, you may feel like Chapter 3 Season 1 is really nostalgic. That's a fantastic season. The whole point of the OG seasons are to bring old players back. And if there's just simply not enough people who are playing in Chapter 3 and 4 that have quit the game, they're literally just not going to be as popular and they're going to run out of nostalgia to feed off of. What Fortnite may end up doing after Chapter 2 OG is they may end up bringing the Chapter 1 map back as a permanent mode maybe, or maybe that doesn't happen. Maybe they're just going to continue to use reload and continue to use different modes in order to bring back that old feeling of those old maps and the old assets and the old UI and things of that nature. Maybe they'll do that with Chapter 2 also. And at the moment, Chapter 2 seems to be be more popular due to, I feel like, a lot of current players who started playing in Chapter 2 in comparison to Chapter 1. There used to be this huge discrepancy between like players who were really, really OG and players who, you know, were brand new, and that's kind of changed. I mean, Fortnite is about to have its 7th birthday, I believe, so a lot of Chapter 1 players are gone. Like, it's really not the majority of people who started playing in Chapter 1, which is really, really weird to me, but I completely understand why. That's just, you know, the evolution of a game and when people start playing. But I don't feel like, honestly, I do not feel like Chapter 2 OG is going to be nearly as fun for me as Chapter 1 was, simply because I just have a lot more memories on the Chapter 1 map, and that was like truly a pinnacle part of my childhood. But I understand why a lot of people feel like Chapter 2 is going to be so much better, because tons of people started playing Fortnite in Chapter 2. I feel like Chapter 2 was Fortnite's really like second peak, and that makes so much sense why a lot of people, just like in my poll over here that I made in my community post on my channel, you guys can go and view that right now if you want to look at it. But I asked, will Chapter 2 OG be better than Chapter 1 OG? And even though there's only about 95 votes, 69% of those people said yes and 31% said no. So a majority of people, actually a large majority of people, believe that Chapter 2 OG is going to be better than Chapter 1 based on my survey online. Like I said, I still believe that Chapter 1 will ultimately be better for me no matter what. I really just don't see Chapter 2 really being that good in comparison to Chapter 1, but Chapter 2 already has some very obvious issues that I think could be very troublesome for Fortnite's future. But I really want to know what you guys have to say down below in the comments. Let me know your thoughts about Chapter 2 OG. Are you hyped? Do you care? Let me know down below. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like these. Use code Prozeroyt. Drop a like, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.